Jon Pettit said this ordinance doesn't work. Well, step up to the plate. What do you have that does work? I am pleased to be here, though I don't have solutions.
Hey guys, check this out.
What is it?
Is someone in?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Jon Pettit. I live out in Rich Road, East Olympia, and I happen to be helping some homeless people on my property, but that's probably in violation of some codes. But let's get to where we're at. I'm going to read to you a definition here first. Definition: insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. How many times have we renewed this? It doesn't work. The only reason why it might work is if a governmental agency like Thurston County was putting in an application for a permit at a location on Carpenter Road. Now, one of the things you have to recognize is that with this ordinance in effect, you as the Board of County Commissioners can give no protection to any of the neighbors that might be surrounded by a process that gets submitted by some particular applicant. Now, we know in the case of Thurston County made the applicant, you could withdraw it. And you did withdraw it based upon information you determined did not make sense. But did you know that directly next to that property on Carpenter Road, the city of Olympia owns an 8-acre piece of property? If this property was acceptable, then the city of Olympia would have the open access to go ahead and create an encampment there, which you've decided was not a good location and a good suitable fit. And yet they could go forward. The person over in Josh over here, the head of the department, he would be the one subject to making decisions. You've never had one of these applications go through, and typically it'd be because the cost involved with trying to run it doesn't happen through a private sector location. What you need to recognize at this point, as far as I would be concerned, is number one, is it doesn't work the way it is, and it doesn't really give the actual protection to the people that own property in and around spots it may be. Now, I guess a couple little quick notes. The greatest predictor of future behavior is past behavior. Okay, well, that isn't about the residents. That's about what's going to happen with this ordinance. We're just opening up a door for a program that has never worked, and at this point, it's not perceivable that it'll ever work to the benefit of any particular community. You are reducing, by continuing this, and now, especially with the city of Olympia's site over there off Carpenter Road, potentially letting the city open up a homeless encampment right there where you've already decided wouldn't work effectively. I can only encourage you, if you want to create some type of emergency, which if it really existed and able to deal with it within the elements of your interim ordinance, would have actually happened within this time frame, that you now need to say, it needs to go in the round file, and let's start over and let's make something that will work. Something that will work not only to help the homeless or these different people, but also work with the community that it's around. I'm asking you that basically you just make a decision. You say, this one isn't working, let's create a new one. Let's just not make a couple little tweaks of something. Let's get rid of this one, and if you're going to create one from scratch with a program that'll work. But then the final part is create one that always has to come before the Board of County Commissioners to be approved for a location before a permit can actually be given. Thank you.
Next, I have Ms. Anna Schlecht.
I am pleased to be here, though I don't have solutions. All I know is that we all have to pull together and keep doing what we can do. This is a very tough topic. And just to refer to a couple of earlier comments here, Jon Pettit said this ordinance doesn't work. Well, step up to the plate. What do you have that does work? I'm somebody that has worked on the issues of housing and homelessness for nearly 40 years. And the problem, it's a very deep-seated, multifaceted problem, and there aren't easy solutions. Otherwise, we would have, wrapped this up about 30 years ago. From my tenure of coordinating the annual homeless census, the past 10 years or so, the primary cause of homelessness is economic. So if you're going to solve homelessness, you have to solve the economy. And that's a pretty tall order. The majority of people who reported that they were houseless, homeless, without a permanent residence, had either been evicted, had lost their jobs, or had rent increases that they couldn't afford to pay. Unless we can change the economic threshold that allows people to pay for rent, I don't know that there are any easy solutions. So we're basically looking at what other kinds of resources we can offer. Managed homelessness is far better than unmanaged homelessness. A couple of other things that I've heard, there's a lot of talk about veterans as if they're somehow the most worthy of houseless, homeless people. I can tell you that one of my uncles was homeless. He went to Korea as a very vulnerable young man. It was a very tough war. And while my dad and my older uncles came back from World War II to a hero's welcome, my Uncle Harry didn't. He served his country and his country failed him. And he was homeless off and on since 1953. He fortunately was taken in by a church, and he wasn't even living anywhere near us, but he was taken in by a church and then eventually put into a veterans nursing home the last couple of months of his life. But he served his country. There are a lot of veterans among the homeless. I believe the statistics, I can't remember, I apologize, but you can look those up. It's one of the many reasons that people are homeless. The other thing that people often say in these hearings is that this is a district problem. One of the earlier speakers referred to, if you can't solve it in your district, don't dump it on my district. I can honestly say, from having worked for the city of Olympia for decades, that the rest of Thurston County allowed all of their homeless, all of their low-income people without resources to come to our city. And we, as staff, as nonprofits, put together the best possible resources that could be developed. And they're constantly trying to find ways to do things that do work, to help people get back on their feet, to help people get the kind of support that they need for, job training, drug and alcohol counseling.
15 seconds, Anne.
Well, in short, if this was an easy solution, it would have been solved. And I really hope that the county renews this ordinance, and that for those people who think that this is an Olympia problem or another district problem, take a drive around at 6 a.m. to see who's houseless in your immediate neighborhood. They didn't take the bus from Olympia to get to your neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I have for you today. If you do have any questions or comments about this, please put them below. If you like this video and would like to see more like it, please subscribe. And as always, have a nice day.